Morning, it's Sunday, the 11th of November, which means it's time for the Sunday vlog. But first, here's a jingle. The 11th of November is an important day because today is Armistice Day, also known as Red Poppy Day in the United Kingdom. I'm wearing my poppy with pride on my wrist, and I'm also wearing the t-shirt from my favourite charity, which is Help the Heroes. Armistice Day, 100 years today that the end of World War I was officially signed. So an important day, and 11 o'clock, which is about an hour away from now, there's a 2-minute silence across the country that obviously I will be honouring as well. But before all that happens, let's see what's going on in the workshop. It's been a bit of an interesting week. I mean, things are developing, but it's felt a bit bitty. It's not really felt like a huge progress has been made. Remember last time I was talking about the finish for the Sysport, and I did a experiment on this where I used a number of the Osmo products on a board just to sort of kind of see what I liked, and eventually I chose a sheen, a sort of kind of, what's it called, a satin finish. So that's all now been done. So all the units at the end there has been finished with the Osmo, and I've just temporarily stored the Sustainer collection inside there, and that's because we took delivery of a new tool. We finally got hold of the CMS with a router module, and I've done a video about setting this up and some initial thoughts about that. The reason I wanted this is because when I build the drawers for the Sysport, there's going to be a bottom made out of plywood, and I want that to be rebaited or rabbited into the sides of the drawer to make it a firm thing. For that, I wanted to route that. I did think about a few techniques using the MFT table to route those grooves, but it was all getting a bit complicated and a bit messy, and given the fact we put this into our budget, go and look at the workshop design video, I accelerated the purchase of that, and it's really good overall. I'm impressed with that. But say there'll be a setup video coming out, not just for the table, also for the sliding table that fits to the front, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. Did make a bit of a mistake. If you can just see here at the end, there's a nice silver table appeared. I actually bought that to go with the CMS unit, and I read the description and it said side extension. I thought it meant the sides as I'm facing this in a router configuration. It's actually meant the sides facing this in a table saw configuration. So this table here fits very nicely on here, but is no use at all for the extension piece that I wanted. I did think about sending it back, but then I realised it fits perfectly on the end of the MFT3 table, which gives me a little bit more working space, which is absolutely perfect, which then obviously allows me to go back to using my standard rail on there. So yeah, that's pretty good. So that's what's been going on in the workshop. Today, after the 2-minute silence, I'll be cracking on and starting to cut all the materials out for the drawer units, which means I need to make some adjustments to the Capex saw. We've not done a video on the Capex saw yet, but I will get one out in the near future. One of the great things about the Capex, it's got 2 lasers that actually show you where the cut's going to be, and that allows you to get a lot of accuracy. Problem we've got on the Capex is those lasers aren't yet calibrated. So I've researched that, understand how to do that, so I'll be calibrating the Capex before I use it, and I'll just do a quick video about that. That'll come out in oh crikey, a few weeks time, because we've got quite a lot of backlog now of videos to release. So that's the workshop update. YouTube continues to grow, to bring you up to speed. When we started the 15th of October, which is what, about a month ago, just under a month ago now, we started with our first video. We had no views and we had no subscribers. 21st of October, 1 week later, we're into 8 videos, 81 views and our first subscriber. On the 28th of October, we had 12 videos, 655 views and 22 subscribers. Last week we had 16 videos out there, and they had 1,106 views, so we passed a real good milestone, and subscriber count was up to about 65. If you remember, I said that's around about 4,223 minutes of videos being watched, which equated to 3 days, and I was really blown away that people take the time to come and look at that. Today, 11th of November, 20 videos, so I'm now doing 4 a week, which seems to be okay. 1,678 views. We've smashed the 1,500 milestone. Thank you so much. And 101 subscribers. 6,514 minutes of videos watched, which is now over 4.5 days of people watching the Woodgrafter videos. So this is great. And what's interesting is that growth is beginning to accelerate, and I guess that makes sense. The more content that you put out there, the more people see it, therefore that is beginning to accelerate. Shout out for those I can see: Kevin Horton, Aaron et Manu, Craig O'Brien, Lelo015, Brad Jones, Shiroski Nunchaku, I hope I've said that one correctly, Edvidus Williams, Calvin Odom, AD Aslam, Redilla, Patrick 2098, By Buzz, Michael Abelli, Udo Weber, Rido Sport, VS Productions, and Rafik Dak. 57 comments. Last week I think we were down about 32 comments. The week before that we had probably no comments at all, and now we've got 57 comments. Majority of the comments are wishing me well, saying they're liking the videos, encouraging me to keep going with this, and that's great. Another milestone, I had my first dislike. We had a thumbs down on one of the videos. That was the Festool Setup Part 2 video. So great, it feels like I've made it. I've got my first detraction, but we're still running at 98.9% of likes and positive comments overall, so that's really, really cool. If it was you who gave me the thumbs down, just get in touch and let me know what it was that wasn't working for you on that video. I do want to make these better and better and better. Some comments that I think are worth discussing. I had a comment saying that somebody would like to see more turning projects and maybe more boxes, more projects like boxes or wands, interestingly enough, or pens. Okay, yeah, I get that. What I want you to remember about the channel, it's not about building projects. This is a channel that's documenting the build out of the business, of the Woodgrafter business. Obviously our target audience is all about end users, people who want customized furniture in their homes. So that's our end audience. However, having said that, I do recognize that there's not going to be a consistent flow of work, and as I start to build up the presence and start to put the website in place, I think there's an online stream to the business that will indeed starting to sell things like, I guess, turned pens, boxes and boxes and so on and so forth. And that's a great opportunity to use some of the the wood. In here, for example, I've got 2 really nice offcuts of cherry. We'll get quite a few nice pens, for example, out of those 2 blanks. So it's an opportunity to recycle the use of material and also open up a different revenue stream. So yeah, there probably will be some things about that, but not for project's sake, and that will come on board as I start to build up that side of the business that I think I'm just going to call the marketplace, maybe the maker's marketplace, something like that. So watch out for that, but that's not in the near future, that's a ways down. We've got a lot of work to do before we get there. Another comment that came through: so what's the point of building on YouTube? And that's an interesting question, because think about what I'm doing. I'm building up a woodworking business that's primarily about the development of furniture for customers. Yes, I'm putting a lot of effort earlier on about the social media presence, building up the core community on YouTube, and then moving into things like Instagram, things like Twitter, and so on and so forth. And that's really about building up and engaging with a community of people who are interested in either building up a business or in woodworking. So why put all that effort in? The reason is I want to make the woodworking craft, accessible, not just for people who want to be involved in it, but people who want to benefit from it, i.e. my target customer base, those people who really want to buy the furniture and the products that we make. Now the challenge is you come along and you're talking to somebody about a sideboard or a table or whatever it may be that you're building. I want them to understand the sort of kind of experience that goes behind from me talking to them to giving their project. And if I start to build up a community and a base that's documented not only how do we do things, but all the things that go on beside the business, it makes the experience accessible for the end users. So I can now come along and talk to you about a product that you might want me to build for you, and as part of your research you can now come to a structured website, a structured YouTube community, and you can start to see the type of engagement we have, get inside the business, and it starts to give people a bit of comfort, I guess, around what they're buying into when they come to buy a Woodgrafter product. So that was reason number one, to make the art accessible so people can understand what sits behind the art. The second thing, a genuine passion to share what I'm doing, and hopefully as we grow the engagement to get feedback onto what it is that we're doing here. So I'm just documenting my journey, and we'll see where that goes to. And that's just sharing, you know, influencing, trying to encourage people to come along and do the same sort of thing. The third reason is really about that makers market that I just mentioned in the answer to the previous question. I've got this idea in my head, and whether it works or not, I don't know, and I'd welcome your feedback, but the idea goes that as we start to grow the brand of the Woodgrafter, the Woodgrafter makers market, which can become an online resource to other makers. So if you want to sell the products that you're making, and you're building your craft business up, and you want an outlet for that craft, then I've got this idea that why do we not come together with that and start to put our collective products on some sort of website that we can then start to ship to the end users. So probably smaller type of craft products inside there. So the idea of building a community of interested people building businesses who make stuff, that seems to make sense. And as a thank you for all the support and advice and guidance, we can come in there. Now that's obviously going to grow the Woodgrafter brand, which will obviously link to more people to coming along, and where I can focus on the area that's really interested to me, around the custom furniture and the bespoke furniture designs. Another side of the business, that marketplace, starts to grow interest for the community who've supported. So they're the three areas really. Accessibility, so the end customer can get inside and understand the craft that they're buying into with their products. Second area is really just about a documentation, just a what's going on in the Woodgrafter world sort of thing, and just seeing where the business goes to. And the third one, a future thought process, is very much around that sort of kind of makers market. Hope that makes sense. But that's really what we're trying to do. The cup's going well. I think that's pretty much it for this week. I don't want to go on too long today because I want to get with the family, for the remembrance service at 11 o'clock UK time. Yeah, thank you for watching again. Don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to like, and please keep your comments coming in, because I say I want this to be interactive. See you next time.